What I want to know is, what was the biggest driving force for you to kind of go after your dreams? And, despite what anybody else said, you were just kind of like, F it, I'm going to do it. And then you ended up doing it.
Now, that's a pretty good question, Jack. You have to understand, I don't listen to other people's opinions. I listen, but I do what I think is the best thing. Because 9 times out of 10, when you're talking about something, especially if you're a young man, let's just use me as an example. And I told people I was going to run nightclubs when I was 20 years old. They were like, yeah, right, sure you are. And then I did. When I finally decided to get out of the business and go into professional wrestling, and when I told them I was going to get into professional wrestling at 31, I thought I was too old to be a wrestler, so I came in as a manager. You have to understand that sometimes ignorance is bliss. And if I knew how hard that was, if I knew that, I don't know if I would have done it. But I didn't know that. So, there's good and bad to being ignorant. The bottom line is I did get in, and because back then I look and dress like that guy as a manager, and they told me, I said, when they wouldn't let me manage anymore, D, it's not your fault. The hair, the clothes, the bling, the diamond dolls, the rap. It's like no one's paid attention to the wrestler that you're managing. So bottom line is I was told I was too over the top for professional wrestling as a manager. So I had 7 months left on my contract. And since I was a kid, I always wanted to wrestle. I didn't want to be a manager. And I went down to power plant and I started learning how to wrestle. And when I first started, everybody laughed at me. Now, I could have taken that as real disheartening, and I could have let it destroy my confidence, but I didn't. But I gotta be honest, it was hard. It was really hard. I can't tell you, where they would train, it was called the power plant. This is before WWE's Performance Center. We trained in a warehouse that in the winter was fucking freezing. And that's when I started. I can't tell you how many times in the beginning, especially that first couple of months, my body would hit that mat and I would say to myself, man, this fake stuff hurts like hell. Like, bro, my body felt every square inch of that mat when I hit it. Starting at 35 was the hardest thing for me physically because of the punishment it was about to put on my body. The positive side was starting at 35 mentally. I wasn't going to do the stupid shit I would have done at 20 or 22 or 25 or 27. I was just going to be smarter because I was older. I was more mature. I iced my body. No one did that. For 5 years, I was the only one in professional wrestling that iced his knees and his back. Everybody laughed at me. In 1996, I had turned 40, and by the time I was 3/4 through that year, I was becoming one of the hottest properties in professional wrestling. And there's another documentary WWE did called Positivity Living that kind of does a decent job of telling that story. But again, I was the guy, I was the anomaly. I was the guy who wasn't supposed to happen, but I did. And 96, I was 40, 97, my career blew through the roof. I headlined so many pay-per-views. Me and Randy Savage had the feud of the year in 1997. It was unprecedented. It had never been done before, anything like this. I was working 270 days a year in the ring, along with doing Hollywood Squares and The Tonight Show and Kilborn Show and all these shows that created awareness, built the brand bigger than the wrestler, kind of like what The Rock did on a much smaller level, what John Cena does today or Dave Bautista. The bottom line is that I would be on fire for those next 3 years. And then I ruptured my L4 and L5. You could say I broke my back. I was told by three spine specialists that my career was over. It knocked the shit out of me. I just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal. I finally got paid. Now they're saying it's over? A lot of emotional gravity pulled me down. And you'll see that in Relentless. But I don't stay down. I come back up. And that's the key. Everybody gets depressed, including The Rock, including Obama, including Trump. I'm sure he's really depressed right now and pissed off at the same time. Everybody gets depressed. They don't stay there though. The people who are really successful, they bounce and come back up.